All right, just kicked off the live stream here for a Saturday night. A frustrating contest, if you're a Sharks fan. You do get a point out of this. I know everybody realizes that, but watching the 60 minutes, actually watching the final 25 minutes, like late second period on, you outshot the Penguins 17-8 in the middle stanza. You had 1:10 of power play. You had 2:50 more to start the third period. You gave up some chances that way. You had 2 more power plays in the third. Couldn't capitalize, and then Pittsburgh does. Anyway, why am I recapping? I'm literally recapping everything without actually hitting the theme track and starting. So you know what? Let's start night shift. All right.
Broadcasting live and worldwide. Here's Brody Brazil.
Welcome to Sharks Night Shift. Brody here at the NBC Sports Studios. We just finished post-game live. We just finished game 39 on the Sharks season. I know, it's crazy to think that by next week, I guess next Thursday, is that the Tampa game? After Thursday, we'll be halfway complete with the NHL's regular season schedule for the Sharks. And actually, we should have already been at the halfway point already. The Sharks have 3 games that got postponed, so we're at 39 with 3 still to be made up. But tonight, Sharks score first. Sharks outchance Pittsburgh. Sharks get more opportunities than Pittsburgh. Of the final 21-10 of the game, final 21 minutes and 10 seconds, the Sharks were 5-on-4 for 8 of them. And not just that, it was the 2:50 to start the third period on the power play where Pittsburgh had multiple shorthanded chances. It became frustrating. You could kind of sense that this was the opportunity to get that 2-1 lead, to make it stick, to hang on, and to win it that way. And if they didn't, they would pay for it. Ultimately, that is what happened in overtime. And 37 seconds into overtime, where the Sharks have been really good this year. San Jose, 6-0 before tonight in 3-on-3 hockey. Actually, I guess 6-0-1, because there was a game they went to a shootout. They lost that. But when it came to the strategy, the execution of 3-on-3, the Sharks were a perfect 6-0 this year. And tonight was their first defeat, and it was quick. They tried to change. Pittsburgh didn't. Sidney Crosby found Jake Guentzel out front. 19th goal of the season. And I just have to say, for Guentzel, you watch Sidney Crosby tonight, and I feel like and I'm watching Sharks Twitter too, I feel like there is a theme of Sidney's not the same, or he's not the playmaker or the difference maker, at least tonight, or than he used to be. Like you would come to watch him be the centerpiece of the Penguins. And I don't know. I don't watch enough of their games, only when they play San Jose or when I have the opportunity to watch an early game while the Sharks are set to play later that night. But it just doesn't seem like he was a factor for the entirety of tonight's game. However, the stars were going to shine tonight. And Sidney Crosby, in the end, to his partner Guentzel, it was the setup as much as it was the actual goal. And that was the game decider right there, 2-1 in overtime. So you have a Sharks team that was on a 3-game win streak, feeling pretty good about things. Last time out, you get shut out. You lose 3-0 to the Rangers. That one's frustrating because you feel just handcuffed, couldn't score. For the second time this year against the Rangers. And then tonight, you score 7-0-1 into the game on a beautiful goal scores goal. Beautiful setup by Erik Karlsson. We'll go into a little bit of detail on that in just a second. That was the Sharks' 7th shot of the game. At that point, they were outshooting Pittsburgh 7-1. Sharks scored on their 7th shot. Pittsburgh scored on just their 2nd shot of the night. But scoring first, getting chances in the middle period, getting power play opportunities in the third period, and not being able to ultimately go ahead. I mean, that's the entire story of tonight's game. So the Sharks do pick up a point. They're now at 42 through 39 games, a 20-17-2 record. I also feel, I guess I'm going to say it like this, I feel bad for Adin Hill. That is now 5 starts in a row. Another 5-start span for him. Who would have thought at the beginning of this year that this would be the second time Adin Hill makes 5 starts in a row? Now, It was Reimer out the previous time of why Hill was in this position. Right now, it's that same thing. Reimer on the IR, day-to-day, though, so we are expecting him back sooner than later, much sooner than later. But the thing about Adin Hill, it's not just that, he is the guy, the default guy to get these starts. He's been playing well. That's 5 starts in 5 games in a row that he's allowed 2 or fewer goals to the opponent. Now, I know you're thinking Rangers scored 3 last game. Yes, they did. 1 was on an empty net. That's not against Adin Hill. In his 5 starts, the opponent has never put up a 3 spot on Adin Hill in these last 5 games. And wouldn't you know it, 2 or fewer is supposed to work all the time. 2 or fewer is not working right now for Adin Hill. Of these 5, he's won 3 and lost 2. The Sharks just aren't scoring goals. And it's a little bit on the power play. It's just as much at even strength. I mean, you don't want to make the power play your crutch. You don't want to make it so that, all right, when we do get on the power play, that's how we're going to score, and that's how we're going to get ourselves out of a scoring streak. You got to create 5-on-5 too. And I certainly don't know that the Sharks are doing anywhere enough of that, anywhere close to that at this point right now. Sorry, I was just realizing that I had forgotten to set up the live chat. So when we actually get to that point, I will take some questions and comments, and there just seems to be a lot of them here tonight. Let me dive through some first, and then I'll go back to some more thoughts. Christopher, our power play is bad. Hill outside his crease playing the puck is bad, but besides that, I think the Sharks played probably well. Also, you have to score more than 1 with 40 shots on goal and 4 power play opportunities, and that's what I was saying. 8 minutes of power play time in the final 21 minutes of the game. And how about this stat, to your point, Christopher, from Darren Stevens? This is crazy. The Sharks since 2000 have lost 82 times when tallying 40 or more shots. Now, I don't know how many they've won at that same level, right? They might have won 500 games when they tally 40 or greater shots. But it just goes to show you that's a full season of losing in the last 20-odd years. That's a full regular season of losing, 82 games of losing when you pump out 40 shots or more. It just proves that it's not abnormal for this team to lose games even with that many shot opportunities. Now, quantity versus quality. I think the quality was enough again tonight for the Sharks. I don't know that it was overwhelming, but certainly enough to get more than 1 goal. And how about just the way this played out, right? You're obviously thinking that when you go up against Pittsburgh, Tristan Jarry's there. Like people are talking about the Vezina for him. I had his stats here, and I should have brought him up. But, save percentage in the 900s, and a goals against right around 2. And the Sharks don't have to face him tonight. Instead, they get Louis Domingue, drafted in 2010 by the Desert Dogs. Do I have a sound effect? Well, I do, but I mean, do I really need to bring up the beer sound effect? Do I even have it here? I don't even think I have it here. Sorry. Well, it's a Saturday, so I said Desert Dogs. Do what you got to do with that. Anyway, Louis Domingue, drafted by Arizona 2010. He's only played 140 games since then. What does he do tonight? Holds the Sharks to 1 on the scoreboard. 11 shots in the first, 17 shots in the second, 13 shots in the third. 1 goal to speak of on 41 shots for San Jose. So there is that thing for Team Teal that over all the years, and I think a lot, especially in the 2010s, in Todd McClellan era, shot quantity was at a premium, and they pumped up, 40, 50 some odd shots some nights. And they would still lose a handful of those games. So quantity and quality, 2 different things. I know people talk more about shots versus chances. I think that's a good way to look at it. But yeah, 40 shots on goal and the power play looks, you're right. The math does not add up, Christopher, that the Sharks probably should have got more out of this game. All right, let's see what else we got here. If Gregor can figure out how to have an NHL level shot, he'd be so good. I think it's just a little bit of finish for Noah. Creating opportunities seems to happen. Finishing on them, maybe not as much. Does that come with time? Possibly. I think to have half the battle figured out, he's got the hard, well, I don't want to say he's got the hard part of the equation figured out, but, to put yourself in these positions, to get the opportunity to stick and, make these opportunities, yes, but finishing on them obviously is the point of emphasis here. Bugner Gregor is snake bit like many other guys on the team, and that is true too, especially right now. No puck luck. This game against Pittsburgh was much better than last, and Vlasic played better. Hill stood out tonight the most. And, I said before, I felt bad for Adin Hill, but defense is a team thing, right? It's going to reflect on the goalie. The Sharks have looked good in these last 5 games defensively. They're just, unfortunately, they're playing so well defensively at this time when they're also going through a scoring rut. And that's not helping them with the record. Lack of scoring hurts, dominated the Pens in almost every way, but we have to make opportunities count eventually. I mean, it's kind of obvious this team needs another top 6 forward. Instinence. Is that the handle? So I want to comment on this. Now that Evander Kane is not around the team and, we'll see what the grievance process brings. This is an aspect of the Sharks that has, I think, been noticeable all season long. That, a lot of times they are a top 6 forward short. And it's not just now and lately because they've been having issues scoring, but depth in the lineup, especially up front. Honestly, I think San Jose's blue line, and why would they not be? You've got Burns, you've got Karlsson, you've got Vlasic, you've got Mario Ferraro, who has certainly come through and developed in the last couple of years. I think Šimek has found something in his game, a little more physical aspect. Jake Middleton, I like the way he plays on a regular basis, and there's a couple more too. But point being, I think the blue line for San Jose is fine, and their top 6 generally pretty good. But you've got a Timo, you've got a Hurdle, you've got a Logan Couture. You get Dahlin kind of in and out, but this is a rookie season for Dahlin. And so my thought here is, imagine having one more top 6 caliber forward on your team. And the Sharks had one on their team, or they had one signed under contract, but it was Evander Kane, and obviously there was more to that equation. At this point, you got to look at the Sharks as being one player shorthanded for 39 games this season, one star player. Certainly the salary cap and the $7 million hit that I would assume somehow opens up here once this process, hopefully it's expedited and the team figures out, what the end result is with Evander Kane, how the separation actually exists. But my point is, yes, they've been shorthanded, that one player, all year long, and to have 42 points in 39 games and still be without, a main contributor, a difference maker. That's probably it. And I apologize that I'm like searching sometimes for the right description of said player, but it is a player of Evander Kane's ilk, a difference maker. Like, just imagine if the Sharks had one more Tomas Hertl, or one more Timo Meier, one more Logan Couture, or the contributions of what Evander Kane did last season. How many more wins would they have right now? How many more points would they have right now? Would they be going through as many scoring ruts as they have? For some answers, yes. For some answers, no. But generally speaking, they'd be better off. So the ultimate question is, if and when they're freed up financially and cap-wise to acquire another player or to move forward in that direction, what do? How do they spend that cap space that might be opening up for them? We'll see. That's going to be a separate video, by the way. I don't know if you guys could tell. I wanted to rant on that one because it's a good point. So I will be making a totally separate video out of that one later. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Brody, the power play is kind of dodgy. Like the comment on TV on going the route of denying that you're saying, we'd rather not go on the power play. No, because I think the Sharks are giving up chances on their power plays. By the way, those shoes and suit coat. Not sure the pants and our dress pants kind of look like sweatpants. Randy, you don't like my, these are, dirty bottoms. Vessies? Yeah, I was going a different look tonight. Like, sometimes and I do take my shoes off here on Sharks Night Shift. Look at those though. Look, a little bit of teal accent. Wait, is the lace color, like that little thing, different than that? I thought in person. No, I guess to my eye, it's pretty close. The camera definitely accentuates, like a hair on my shoe, accentuates a little bit of a different color there, but these are so comfortable. I don't know. I'm just trying something different here. It doesn't, like, we're in 2022, we're in a pandemic, I'm in a studio all by myself, and the pants, yeah, they're actually, I'm not gonna stand up and show you my pants, but they're Lululemon ABC pants. You could wear them with a suit easy. But if you're telling me that they looked, you could tell, then we got issues here, Randy, and I appreciate your honesty. You're looking out for me. So even though you're winking, like, I know, all right, we got to talk about it. So, and then Randy going back to scoring is definitely an issue. Whoa, was it really 66-33 on the dots tonight? All right, Alex, because you brought that up, and I believe you, but I need to see some more stats for myself. So, time for elevator music here on Sharks Night Shift. Stand by. So what I'm doing is opening up the NHL's media site, and a lot of times I'm not sure if it has my password or credentials like right on the screen, and I don't really care to put that on or get in trouble if I'm not supposed to, so that's why I cut away to that for just a second. Okay, games. Come on. A lot of games tonight. I think 13 games around the league. I think they were supposed to play 16. Yeah, if these three were not all postponed. All right, let's pull up the event summary, and let's also pull up the game summary. And I'm sorry, but we gotta get the theme music out, or the elevator music out for a second. Okay, we're looking at the event summary, yeah, for face-off. So here we go. Oh my goodness, you are right. That is amazingly one-sided. 60, that's crazy. And there weren't, I guess 36 and 18. What does that add up to? 54 draws total, but 67-33%. Man, the Sharks dominated them on the dots. I kind of had that feeling, but I did not know it was to that extent. So, no, that's interesting. That's worthwhile. It's worth bringing up. I mean, you rarely see two teams that are evenly matched like this. I mean, a 20 and a 21 or 22 win team, and one team is that much better on faceoffs. All right, let's get back to more comments here. Going from outscoring 9-6 in 3 games to being outscored 1-5 in 2 games is not good. Well, yes, Brandon. I mean, I think what you're talking about, the 1 and 5 here. One was an empty netter for the Rangers. Did they? One was shorthanded the other night too. It's funny how fast I flush out these games. It was a shorty. And I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just saying the 1-5 in 2 games. I don't know. I think the bigger issue is just that they are not scoring goals. That they're allowing a lot of times 2s and maybe a 3 to the opponent, and they're not finding a way to at least match that. That, I think, is the biggest issue. So however you want to frame that, that's what I think is probably the most important. Man, that music before the theme was nice. You like the build-up music? I think that's what it's called here. For sure, Hill played well. Props. Hang loose. 6 periods and 1 goal. And that goal was in the first period of this game. Well, and Moonglow, yeah, I mean, that's what I was talking about before. You know, this Sharks team has been down a key contributor all year long. And so certainly those types of things do help. Darius, I always appreciate you. You're such a frequent contributor on the Super Chat. And again, all of this goes right back into this channel. That's what it's all about. Helping me get new equipment, new stuff like this so that I can live stream after these games. A lot of people notice that I used to have kind of a cruddy GoPro camera over there. Like it it was just a really, really old one. I mean, it had been in a closet for many years, kind of a fuzzy image, but now like I can do, 2 clean quality camera images here, new microphone setup. Anyway, all this live streaming stuff is funded by you guys. And I try and grow the channel and I try and put it all back into it. So Darius, thank you. Okay, on to the comment. My dad is a Pittsburgh fan. We were determining who gets the bragging rights for tonight. Next thing you know, he starts sending me Penguins gifts, and I do the same with sending Sharks gifts. And I'm not saying GIFs. No, it's a GIF. To me, it's a GIF. Well, I'd like to know what Sharks gifts are out there. And if there's any of Sharky, please don't use those. He's bad luck. Just kidding. I love Sharky. But thank you, Darius, so much for being in the super chat. I definitely try to get to those comments sooner than others. What's a brother got to do to get a Geno? As in Malkin? Love Gregor's game tonight. Lots of hustle. No, and you know what? I think we all know, instinctually when we see somebody who's playmaking, who's right there, who should be getting goals and they're not, and if you stick with it, Drew has been saying this for years on a lot of different occasions, and he's usually right. Like, Sharks in a playoff series when they're down 2-1 and they've been the better team for all 3 games. Stick with it. It'll work out. Hockey's a long season, even playoff series. They're best of 7s for a reason. Like, that's a lot. You got to win 4 games. And oftentimes it goes 5, 6, or even 7. Like a lot is gonna play out, right? So, and you just hope for Noah Gregor that is the situation. A lot's gonna play out. The hockey gods will take care of things ultimately at some point. So I know that's kind of putting it in the hands of fate, but at the same respect, if you see it and I see it and we're both thinking it and everybody's thinking it, then it probably will happen. Props on the speed of going from post-game live to this. Well, thank you, Randy, and I'm glad you noticed. We signed off at 10:29, I want to say. And what happens is I walk out of the studio, take my mic off, take my earpiece off, put my mask on. I go in my little office, put some stuff away, go in the changing room. I change. I take my dress shirt off and tie off. I just put this on. This is what I was wearing. And then I say thank you and bye to the producer and other people from the crew. I walk upstairs. I come here in this conference room. I check a few things. It does take me a few minutes to actually get rolling, make sure that I'm recording, make sure that the stream is up, make sure that I'm signed in. There's a lot going on here behind the scenes. I've fortunately got it pretty dialed in to be quick, but make sure that the stream deck is working so that, everything is easy access. And so once all of that is done, then I just fire away. Quite honestly, the best part about doing Sharks Night Shift is that I don't really put much preparation thought into it. I have my game scorecard here. I use the same format all the time, but I don't really plot out a whole show or topics, but I do feel like when these come out, they are a good stream of conscious game review. They are a good conscious stream of game review. What am I trying to say? Thoughts flow nicely, way better than my words did right there. So, Randy, thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. Epic camera angles. You like the second camera? I mean, this thing looks like it's, breaking my own gear. Yeah, so there's a little side camera over here. I guess I could even put in a third camera, but I kind of like this one. And then you can kind of see the hallway outside the conference room. And then this one's just the main shot. So anyway, Alden, you rocking a tearaway suit? That was a fast transition from the end of TV broadcast to YouTube. Well, you know what? It was probably honestly saying goodbye at 10:29, and well, here it's 10:59. We're 30 minutes in, but I bet you it was probably 5 minutes from me saying, good night, everybody. We'll see you on Monday, to, hey, it's night shift. It's probably about 5 minutes, but it's doable. Nobody else is here in the building. Literally, I'm all by myself now. Though historically the Sharks seem to have a way to make opposition goalies look good, and I think we were talking about that 40 or more shot total and how it doesn't always translate to the end result. A former Sharks player was coaching the Penguins. A former Penguins player was coaching the Sharks. It's amazing how that works out sometimes, huh? Drew is hoping that William Eklund, and Tristan Robbins inject some much-needed forward skill and finishing. Look, we don't often talk about this, and Drew, I'm glad you brought it up. You're the better Drew tonight, not Remenda. Is your name Cormier? Probably, I hope I'm saying that right. You are the Drew of the night, not Remenda. I want to make that very clear. Although, I got to say, he did pregame, the game, intermissions, and postgame. I don't think any of our analysts have ever done that, that marathon sprint. Ever. I don't think that's ever been done. Props to Drew. We're talking about the Sharks here and now. And one thing it's been obvious that they don't want to do is tear everything apart and, really try and build up strong. They want to be good and ramp right into the next phase. And they have the bodies to do it. They also have, I think, to your point, I think they have the pipeline to do it. It's hard, right, to keep getting chances, keep trying to flirt with the playoffs, keep being relevant at the same time, figure out what's next. And maybe for a lot of years, the Sharks weren't doing enough of what's next. But now they are. And I've seen the Robbins highlights, and I've seen Eklund. Obviously, I've seen him in person. But I think there are more good things to come down the road for this team. I think they are all of a sudden set up a lot more nicely now than they have been in the last 5 years. Let's see here. Hill looks like a 1 start for goaltender, but I hope James Reimer comes back healthy. Number 1 starter. I think I see what you're saying. Hill looks like a number 1 starter for goalie, but I hope James Reimer comes back healthy. Let Hill keep going behind the net. You know what, Matthew? It's an interesting situation right now. I mean, Reimer's day-to-day. You certainly want to not rush him back. At the same token, are you going to have Hill make 6 or 7 or 8 starts in a row? And that's fine. There's time off in between. There's no back-to-backs here, which is fortunate for the Sharks. And not to say that Sawchenko couldn't come in and do well. He did do great last time, or his first time against the Penguins. But yes, I agree with you. The Sharks are better off when Reimer is also there and Hill is playing like this. I want them to both get looks. I want Reimer to come back and feel fresh, but also pick up where he left off. The Sharks goalie tandem this year, I got to say, team defense is better and goalies are better. It's a lot of people are going to go back and say, well, it was always Martin Jones and Aaron Dell and Dubnyk wasn't up to par. There were 2 problems in the last couple of years. Goaltending and team defense were both equally faulty. A lot of times it started with team defense and it fell on goaltending. But what I'm seeing right now is, generally speaking, pretty responsible defensive team and equally up to the task goaltending. So, I mean, there's if we're asking, what's the biggest change or improvement of the Sharks from 2 years ago to last year to this year, certainly they do seem like a more cohesive group. Games where they're trailing, games where there are situations where it looks like they could unravel, they could fall apart. There have been rough sequences this year, but they have not fully come apart as they did in seasons prior. So that's one of them. And I think defensively, there's way more structure. There's less freelancing defensively this year. California is running the division. The Canadian teams and Kraken are worse. I haven't looked at the standings recently. Obviously, the Golden Knights escalated. When Calgary got hit by COVID, they fell off the map. I know Edmonton is in a huge slide. The Kings and Ducks, and quite honestly, Sharks, for so many years, they were the top 3. You didn't know what order they would finish in, but it was LA, Anaheim, and San Jose in some distinct order, 1, 2, 3. And then for a couple of years, they were the bottom feeders of the Pacific Division. But certainly they are climbing the ladder. Diego, got to stop with the sneaker and suit look. Now, Diego, you look like a filmmaker of some sort there. I see you have the big, there's different name for the microphone windscreen you have on your. Looks like a nice camera too. That is is that a 416 on a microphone on top of your camera? What is that? But I trust you. You're a visual. You're a content person. And you're telling me I got to stop with the sneaker and suit look. All right. Well, I'll consider it. NHL media site time. Everyone, time to sit back. Oh man, I was way behind. I'm so behind on the comments here. SG Sports Talk channel. Hello. Thank you for the super chat. Doing well. Bad result. Trying to make the most out of it here on Night Shift. Also, you know what? I'm trying to do more just live streaming and interacting. Oftentimes, I think about, making a video, coming up with something witty. A lot of times I should just come on here and interact. And a lot of times I'm not going to do it tonight. I could take phone calls in some of these. Interested in that moving forward. So let me know what you guys want to do. Second floor, that's where I'm at. Housewares and sporting goods. Better than being in the basement. I do like seeing Rudolph's Balcers back in the lineup. It's funny, though. You had Barabanov, and then you didn't have Balcers, and then now you have Balcers back, and Barabanov's out. Like, can we just get a Balcers, Barabanov, and Hurdle line together? Can we do that for a bit? By the way, it is nice to have Tie 99 back. All right, Randy, I see where you're going with it. You're very inclined. You know about Tie 99. Curtis abandoned Brody. Batman. I'm Batman. I did not abandon Robin. I broke you. What did I say? Let's see here. People talking about Burns. Mike says, what did you think of Burns? Drew says, Burns was rock solid. Convince me otherwise. EK65 is getting better and better. So, and you know what, Moonglow, I'm glad you put it this way. That assist by Carlson, I didn't get to that yet. I mean, great finish by Balcers. He's right out front. If he doesn't finish that, if he doesn't bury it, it's like, oh, come on. But Carlson to receive that pass off the wall, all in one motion without directly looking, and find Balcers like tape to tape. Unbelievable display of skill. And I don't know if playing it off the wall was more impressive or feeding it right to Balcers on his tape was more like it's a great conundrum to have. I don't know what was more impressive, but they were both damn equally eye-opening. I mean, that right there was definitely top 10 assists of the season for the Sharks. Probably top 5, maybe even top 3 assists of the season. Just the setup was phenomenal. Looked like Joe Thornton. 15th apple on the year for EK65. I got your last name. That's great. Oh, and the prospect nobody's talking about, Robbins. He's Couture 2.0. Couture was solid tonight until he got hit by that Brent Burns dump in or that shot off the wall. Whoops. If I was to predict Kane's outcome, what happens next, where do you think he will likely end up? I don't think it's fair for me to speculate on this. What more realistic insight do I have on this than anybody else's projections? But let me just say this. You've heard a lot from Edmonton. And yes, the media in Alberta loves to push and pursue, whether it's probably there or not. They love to talk about this stuff. But the Oilers kind of reeling might make it a lot more likely that they say, we got to try something. And if you sign Evander to, 1-year deal or maybe 2 years this year and next year, and are you taking a long-term risk? I mean, I don't know what's out there for him. I'll be honest. Is it, something in the dollar range that he was getting? Is it something in the term the amount of years he was getting before? I don't know. Is he getting another five more years somewhere? I really don't know. But what I'm saying is that there are structures out there that I do think a lot of teams would jump for. And Edmonton would be one of them. Now, I guess the whole thing is, at least as it stands in the moment, the whole tangible thing right now is the NHL's investigation into his travels, sounds like, during his COVID encounter. So it just sounds like, to me, again, reading between the lines, a lot seems like it's on delay. Will it eventually happen? I don't know. I mean, could the league itself suspend him, and then a team would be less like, knowing that everybody's halfway through. If he's handed another 20-game suspension, now we're talking at 60 games into the season for a team, and they can't practice with him. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, don't know all the hypotheticals that we're thinking about right now, but a lot just depends on what the league is doing, what they come up with. I hope that the league expedites this process to figure this out for Evander and for a future team. I also hope that the grievance process goes by quickly because, like I said before, this is the opportunity for the Sharks to be able to figure out their own future, their own payroll, their own cap status. Mike says, I'm liking the Vessies and the Lulu look. Keep it. Okay, Mike. Oh, you know what? I got to put your comment on there. Oh, and maybe did I not show this comment was before? Maybe I clicked off it. But Mike, thank you. Again, I'll just look at, boy, this camera, I got to tell you, I kind of like my remote camera setup almost better than my home studio camera because I can do stuff like that. I can be like, hey, check out these shoes. Now it'll focus back on me. Now check out these shoes. Look at that. That's a quick focus right there. Good detail on, it's so detailed that you can see, it's like a sticker on there. What is that? It's just like a little something. No big deal. I wouldn't touch it if it were gross. But anyway, these are, focus. There you go. These are super comfortable. I feel like I'm doing a Vessi ad right now. These are a Christmas present from the parents. Really nice. They're called The Weekend. And yes, I wear a size. Look, you can see right in there, size 11. Vessi, if you're out there and you want to do a little cross promotion, just let me know. Just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but I am kidding. Let me see here. Oh, Diego, that microphone is a Rode. Okay, hey, equally impressive. I have a Rode Video Mic Pro. Video is what I have on my home camera, similar to what you were using there. Oh, and let me see here. I can't tell what camera you're using, but that's another thing I would geek out to. Camera and lens combo there. But nice, I like it. Andrew, hello, by the way, from Japan. Whenever I see your name, it makes me happy knowing when and where you're watching from. Tomorrow in Japan already. I've been saying this too. What a season for not just the Sharks, but every team in the league, but especially a group like the Sharks that, has one player in, one player out pretty much on a regular basis. And lately it's been an injury, COVID protocol, but then they return, but then somebody else goes on COVID protocol. And look, I guess we should just be thankful that this has not greatly affected anybody and that the league is still playing games. But it is frustrating. It kind of makes this season feel like, should we really criticize this? Should we really go in? Imagine a Sharks team that cannot, even if they tried, they cannot have the same lineup for like 3 games in a row. It's been impossible all year long due to one thing or the other. It's hard to be consistent. Different line mates, whether you want them or not, different power play, different PK. So that's been, but again, that's not been just a Sharks thing by any means. There have been teams who've had it far worse than the Sharks. So, all right, I think that's going to be it. I think I'm going to sign off. It got a little bit later than I actually was even planning to stay on. And you know what? I kind of failed because a long time ago, I was going to do the whole theme of Night Shift. I was going to say, hey, I got 3 thoughts. Here is
number 1.
And then here is
number 2.
And then here is
number 3.
I just looked at my buttons here. I realized I never actually use those. Maybe next time, I don't know if I'll do this on Monday or not. Early game, maybe I'll stream Monday night, but for now, I'm going to get to bed. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I always appreciate it. Before I let you go, first off, have a great rest of your Saturday night. Could you hit thumbs up on this video? Help others find it. I know the Sharks lost. I know these aren't the most popular episodes of Sharks Night Shift when the team loses, but just help me out on the metrics. If If you're watching this for the first time and you're not subscribing, maybe that would also help me out. It's free and easy. Just here, I'll even right there. Just oh no, right. Yeah, right there. There we go. Sub me. Is that nobody says sub me? Don't sub me. Just hit subscribe. Anyway, that's going to do it for the live stream. 2-1 defeat tonight. We will see you 12:30 on MLK Day. That's Monday. It's an afternoon affair between the Sharks and Kings. I will see you then. Until then, maybe I'll live stream tomorrow. Good night.